Well, looking at a little bit of Ann Barnhardt, she's doing a tax revolt. Not paying any IRS taxes anymore. Gee, wouldn't we all like to do that? But to tell you the truth, she's not the first American to do that. And there's a woman sitting right here who's one of the ones that's already joined the revolt. The revolt has been going on for decades, and I'm talking about the field of prostitution. Prostitution. You know, actually, I think this field is a very honorable field, depending on how it's done. Depending on if there's no victimization, if depending on how it's done. And actually, I always have different ways of doing everything in business as far as the established way. But yeah, it could be, but I look at it this way. People get victimized because sometimes it's their will to be victimized. They gravitate towards something, but not in every case. But I also want to point out somebody who's written this book. I actually read this book several times way back when it first came out. The Happy Hooker by Xaviera Hollander. So she's been one of the revolutionaries in the U.S. They don't pay taxes most of the time. It's illegal, right? So they don't pay taxes. I mean, yeah, like I was telling you, my cousin's ex, he was, big-time gambler with, still is. Man, they don't pay taxes. Underworld gambling ring. That's what it goes. They don't pay taxes. So, a lot of people haven't been paying taxes. So, I don't know. Ann Barnhardt comes out and she says she's not going to pay taxes. But the difference between her and, people don't pay taxes, other people don't pay taxes, she announces it to the world. Which I'm thinking, girl, you're okay. I agree with you. But why are you announcing it to the world that you're not going to pay taxes? That's like jumping in front of a tank and saying, screw you. You don't do that. You try to outsmart him. And, she would balk at she's a true Roman Catholic. But, in my morality, I'd almost consider this almost like a mini Bible in a way, too, the Happy Hooker. Depends on how a woman does this. It could be a good field. It could be. I'd say vast majority guys are not going to victimize them. That's bullshit. That's always been bullshit. What happens is a lot of times people get into this type of stuff. They have a death wish inside, and they take drugs, and it's whatever happens because it's inside of them. They're making choices. It's not just even about the prostitution, but prostitutes have been tax revolters in the United States for decades and decades and decades. Nothing new. Gambling rings in the United States have been tax revolters, but they don't openly state, hey, IRS, come and get me. I'm not paying taxes. They don't do that stuff. That's stupid. And I don't know what she's trying to do here, man. This lady, sometimes I wonder about her. I mean, yeah, I know, but if I could look back before she was born, the United States has ceased to be the true constitutional republic it was started out as. She's just waking up to this fact. That's the thing. A lot of it went out the door before World War I when they passed the 16th Amendment to the IRS and the Federal Reserve. Then they had the greatest war to end all wars and all that loss of life. For what? So, it was basically to make certain people wealthy as all hell too. It was a scam. Then they had another scam. So, World War II after that, and the Great Depression, and a lot of things. So, what's going on today is even worse maybe. But I think she's just waking up to what's going on. But I've always had respect for some of the underworld, some of the prostitutes, and the gamblers. They don't pay taxes. I mean, depends on, if you're in the United States, you don't pay. I mean, you're supposed to pay taxes on any income, whether it's illegal or not. That's really what it is. But I would say vast majority of prostitutes don't pay any taxes. So that's one tax revolt out there that's been that way. And they're smart with their money. They could really make out. Now, I'm not going to comment on some of my angles on some of this stuff that could really work. And, I have a very... I'm not into this, like Ann Barnhardt would be very much against prostitution and stuff. I have a friend of mine that works with Bang Brothers down in Miami. And actually, right now, he's in West Coast right now. He'll be coming back at the end of the month. But, a lot of people, even in the porn industry, it's like, it's not the industry itself, it's the attitude of these people that have a death wish. So even if people get into prostitution and stuff, they got a death wish. That's what happens. And that's really why they get all messed up a lot of times. It's not as, it's not exactly what they're doing is so dangerous. They're danger to themselves. And that's really, it's coming from inside themselves many times. But that's one field that has been bucking the system as far as the IRS and taxation for, since it's been around, since the IRS has been around. Prostitutes haven't been paying taxes. And, you know, gamblers haven't been paying taxes either. Gamble on horse races and stuff up in the Meadowlands of New Jersey. All kinds of bets going on. You win, you don't pay taxes. So, you know, I don't know. She didn't really develop anything new, but what she's developing here, brand new, is she's announcing it to like the tanks of the IRS to say, screw you, IRS, and she's going to get flattened by them. That's what's going to happen. So, I don't know what she's trying to do. Not a smart thing. She'd get pissed off if I told her to be a hooker, but, you know, I actually wouldn't have any disrespect for her if she was. I mean, to me, anybody that's a hooker that doesn't pay taxes, more power to them. That's the way I look at it. And, you know, actually these fields out here like this, they say they're illegal. I don't think nothing wrong with them at all. It's just that, well, the problem is drugs. And a lot of that actually is coming from the top people in the government itself and the bank system. Not so much even down at the street level and stuff like that. But, you know, people make their choices. So if they take drugs, they get a lot of money, and they take drugs, they screw their life up. Who the hell did that? But not all of them do. Not all of them do. Some got a couple brains on them, you know. Some people do make it. But that's what I say. It's always individual choice. But it's been the prostitute that has always been not paying taxes. So, Ann, you really haven't thought of something original here. What's going on with original with Ann is that she's telling the IRS point blank, screw you. And, you know, to me, that's not a smart thing to do. Any prostitute wouldn't do that. They wouldn't say, hey, IRS, I made $100,000 last year and I'm not going to pay you. They wouldn't do that. I don't know why she's doing that. So, I mean, she's all right, but she's not thinking, that's for sure.